South Africa and Kenya have put on some unbelievable and amazing wildlife sightings over the past few days. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. This is Safari Catch Up.
I'm seeing my first animal, and I'm very excited to see a hippo. And why am I excited is because the hippo has some 2 white egrets on his back. He must have been feeding the whole night, and I'm calling him he possibly because of his size. We also got females that are also big, but males in general are quite huge bulls. And majestically, he is definitely headed to the marsh, and the cattle eagles are like, we are not getting enough. We have enjoyed the ride, many thanks, but we have to leave and go look, say, for the herbivores that will give us a lot to eat, because once he's in the water, their chances of this eagles feeding are 0. Tina, you're saying you bet the Topi boys will love this guy. Tina, that's very true. And I'm sure, Tina, the last couple of months, the Topi boys have been operating or feeding on either hippos or buffaloes. But maybe, Tina, this one, they have to work hard to bring him down. He looks big. He looks very solid. I would highly doubt they would have a walkover like what they had last time with the other hippo.
So here we have a beautiful herd of buffaloes. They're slowly walking towards the water, and you can see there they're led by one of the big females, we call them the alpha females, and there's of course the big bulls on the periphery. In the middle there you can see some of the bulls scouting and watching. In this time of the year, we find that lions around this area, like the Sopa Pride, the Black Rock Prides, will preferably hunt buffaloes. So as they're walking through the tall grass, they have to be scouting. Miranda, thank you so much for your question. Does a buffalo herd have a leader? Yes, we do have leaders. So we have the alpha females that are the oldest females around. We have also the big bulls that will lead them across, but most of the time you find that the females, the old females, are the ones that will lead the herds as they're walking towards anywhere. Like right now they're going towards the waterway, they have to be led by that female.
We found ourselves a terrapin. Now, this particular terrapin goes by the name of the serrated hinged terrapin, and this is a particular species of terrapin that we tend to find quite sparsely around the Sabi Sand, usually appearing after some really, really heavy rains, and there's lots of little mud wallows, lots of little kind of pans for them to live in. Now, we see them all year round. However, we don't see them all year round doing what they are doing now. Now, this young fella, or not so young, this pretty big terrapin, it's probably actually the biggest one that I've seen, is on his way to find himself a new little water hole. And there is a little bit of mud and a little bit of water behind us, and that's where we thought he was going.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to catch up with the Topi boys, and they are on the move. Not sure where they're coming from or where they would be going. And this has truly made my day. Amanda, you are wondering how far this territory could go. This territory, Amanda, is huge. And the other day I was just thinking, I was trying to look at it with the game warden, and it could be anything over 100 square kilometers. It's huge, depending on how you're looking at it. And Amanda, there's one that was still drinking who must be very, very thirsty. Not sure why he's drinking so much. It would happen because lions would be different. They would behave differently. Look at this one particular individual here who is still having a drink after all the other 5 have left. I wasn't able to identify the other females. He's done. He looks like Izuri to me. I need to see his face very well, but he looks like that Izuri. Look at the mane on that boy.
We are here at Open Dam and we have our Egyptian geese family, and it looks like they still have 4 little chicks staying in between mom and dad, keeping them all safe. It's so cute how they follow behind and stick so close to them. And they've just been out on a morning family swim, all huddled together as well. It's chilly this morning, even though it's going to get warmer later. Right now there's quite a cool breeze, so I can understand why they're also huddling together, keeping themselves warm. Doesn't look like anyone's hungry yet this morning. Usually they would, if they wanted to feed, head to the grass there behind them and start picking away. You can hear the beautiful birds calling. African hoopoo, lots of ring-necked doves. We've been hearing Jacobin's cuckoos too, Deirdre's.
And here we've got 2 females and a male in top breeding condition. And you've just saw how that female was just putting her wings down, because that's how they initiate the courtship dance. Many times you get a male, one male with a couple of females. And maybe of the many females, one of them will be a dominant girl. In the meantime, feeding is also important for them, whether there's a courtship going on or not. And these are the Masai ostriches. I'm sure you know we got 2 species of ostriches, but we say this you'll only get them south of the equator, and the other species found north of the equator will be the Somali ostrich. The Reshamuri, you are saying definitely these ostriches are bigger than the ones you have in South Africa. Possibly then we would have a subspecies, I'm trying to think, of ostriches, the ones we have here and the ones down south. The Reshamuri, I was in Juma some times back in Sabi Sand, and not sure I saw an ostrich. I cannot remember, but apparently these ones here are more or less the same size as the other different species, because that's a totally different species. That is north of Kenya, called the Somali ostrich.
Welcome back here from the ostrich. Now we have the ostrich, the zebras. So the zebras are kindly utilizing this space here, feeding on the grass, and I can see a few topies around here. So we call that an aggregation, where we have a mix of different kind of species, so all utilizing this grass. It's a raised area. We're actually on top of a hill. You can see those 2 stallions there. Sometimes they'll, oh, it's not a stallion actually, mating there. It's very interesting. Sometimes during this year, I've seen lots of zebras with small foals. So around December, that is when we see them calving or giving birth. Toppies have already given birth. I can see some few toppies with young ones.
Now today I want to do a small dance, pretty small for very few minutes, maybe seconds, for two reasons. Number one, of course, I was saying I am going to welcome Tim, who is back on the screen after a couple of years. Welcome Tim. And the other reason is I'm very happy now that officially I would say Kiongozi, which is one of the males of the Topi boys, has been accepted by the other 5 boys. Initially, they have been treating him with a bit of attitude because he's young by 1 year, but I think going forward now, like we saw this morning and the other day, I think he has been officially accepted. That's it for today.
You are joking. Can you see? No, my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Look at that! Oh. I was wondering, these impala were making an awful lot of noise. I was trying to figure out why they were making so much noise. And this is why. Hello, madam. This is absolutely amazing. Are you going to come walking this way, madam? Oh, you're not going to do that. Are you serious? Monique, you absolutely. Look at them, they're bouncing. They're bouncing. Look at that. They're even making little noises. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. This is absolutely amazing. I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless.
See what we've come across. 2 female ostriches. You can see they're grooming each other or one another. They were doing that and then grooming themselves. So this is very useful. And also you can see they're up on the hill, have a good scan around the entire plains. You can tell how they blend in very well. So during the nesting time, because right now we're almost seeing ostrich mating, so when it comes to incubation period, when they're sitting on the eggs, that color will help them blend with this cover, especially with the golden grass. Janet, thank you for your question. Around here, we always see them breeding during December, so it depends. So once a year, probably, you'll see them in breeding plumage.
Starting off with some white rhino. But this is to kick off our campaign for the afternoon, a mother and her calf. And you can see they've obviously been lying in the mud at some stage. Probably yesterday in that heat, it did get up to 40 degrees Celsius. So I'm sure they were wallowing. One of the true wallowers, them, the buffalo and warthogs, really like lying up in the mud. As we see now, this calf taking a little bit of an interest in us. And you can see this Cape glossy starling also just using the rhino as they walk through the grass, bumping up the insects, and then they feed off that. They'll often be around elephants, buffalo, rhino, not feeding on them, the likes of oxpeckers might. In this case, just using them as they walk through and bumping up the insects. They are true lawn mowers. Them, and the likes of hippo as well, bulk grazers.
I have a female lioness here. I have the red oat grass and beautiful weather here in Mara. As I said earlier, it's very warm today. And this female here is from the Marsh Pride. Her name is Kaleo. And apparently, I've just been told by a friend of mine who is a game ranger that she hunted like 40 minutes ago a reedbuck, which was very special. I mean, we know lionesses to hunt on their own, and the reedbuck is pretty small prey, I would say. And I think she was just very lucky because those antelopes are swift. They are fast. If you look carefully, you can see the panting. Marcel will show you the panting on her belly, over the stomach, but also if you look closely on her mouth, you can see the blood stains. A clear indication she just devoured something and just learnt it was a reedbuck. What I do not know is whether it was a male or a female. You can see the amount of flies on her nose. Of course, getting a bit of juice from the blood stains on her.
Now here we have found our luck, the Sand River Pride. Look at what we found, the teeny tiny calves here. Looks like there's a different set of litter here. The one on the left looks like a 3-month-old, and the one on the right looks like a 7-month-old. They're all laying on the rock. You can see one walking right on the screen going to mom. They're still nursing, so the lionesses here are around 4 or 5 lionesses. There's some that are hiding in the grass, so we've not really have a good count on them. But you can tell they're very lax. The rock is warm, and that's the reason why they're all laying on the rock. You can see them rolling over, and soon they'll start play fighting, which is very normal for cats to help them when they're old enough to fend for themselves. Those playful acts really enhances the bond between cubs and the members of the pride. So each cub here is protected by the rest of the pride. So every member of the pride has a role to play when it comes to protection and making sure that the cubs are well fed. So the big dominant males, who are the pride males of this pride, will always protect the entire pride.
Those are 3 hippos there, and just see how covered they are. They blend in pretty well. Look at that. And this is their home, an African jacana very close to them. We have nicknamed these birds Jesus bird because they walk on the water without sinking. But of course, at this particular case, this great water lilies is giving them the good grip. So that is none of these three hippos here. The other hippos in a different area. And every time we hear them, calling, Marcel is always saying they also have their own small little politics amongst themselves.
Well, here we have some reedbucks here. We have two female reedbucks. You can see they're very well camouflaged in the Sand River here. So this is one of the parts of the Mara that we normally find the reedbuck. So this particular reedbuck is called the Boha reedbuck. You can tell by the way she's looking. She's scouting out for lions. Sometimes lions will come and lie on the riverbed here because it's very cool. From the waters you can see on the sand there. Very, very, very cool spot. There was news that the lion spot seen this morning here, the Sand River Pride. So probably she might picked up the scent of the lion because when lions were walking, they leave a scent trail. Danny, thank you so much for your question. The reason why we call them reedbucks is because they're found in very marshy area, in the reeds, in the wetlands, in the marshy area. These reeds give them food and protection. That's why you see them here hiding around here. So that's why we call them the reedbucks, found around the reeds area. Very shy antelopes. You can never see them out in the open grassland, unlike other plains games. So you always see them around the river area in this part of the Mara.
We found ourselves some elephants. Two big boys who were here at Jacis Dam having a little play around. Pretty young boys, I'd say. Well, at least the one at the back. This one is the younger one of the two, or is the smaller of the two. Impressive tusks. I'd say they are perhaps mid-20s, approaching their 30s. Now, one of them is not too happy with the other one, and he keeps trying to actually chase him away. I think that's why there may be a little bit of beef amongst them. It happens. But he also could have found a food source that only he wants to feed on, and this little youngster is trying to capitalize.
I'm sitting with the little bunny rabbit. I have dubbed him Harry the Hare. I don't actually know if it's a male or a female, but Harry the Hare is still here. And his title is the most chilled scrub hare that has ever been. My goodness me. Wow. We are so close to him now. And he's just chilling here. Well, that was also a cool opportunity to just see underneath a scrub hare foot, which we don't often see. It's just hair. So there's no actual paw or pad or anything like that when they are moving around. It's just fur, pretty much. That also leaves the on the front foot, leaves the tracks that we so often see. I still want to find a really good example of a scrub hare track to show you. Backwards facing 7, essentially. You do get different versions. Sometimes if they sit in some very soft sand, you can actually see like this imprint. So where the legs are, where the little tail impression is, which is also quite nice to show.
So we're here in this area that is called, well, not far from Flakkies Vlei, which means the Flatties Pan. And we've come across this jackal who's seemingly really irritating these birds. I can't make out if that's a wattled lapwing or a thickney. Not happy with that jackal. Definitely trying to usher him off, but I'm quite surprised that there go the crowned lapwings. I thought they would be dive bombing it, because that jackal moving around, and there has been quite a lot of those birds. Ooh, are those Denham's bustards up top? Can you see them there, Morgan? No, but we'll stick on the jackal for now. Let's just see what he gets up to. But you can see two Denham's bustards up on the top there too. This jackal's up to no good. But I'm surprised the lapwings aren't more aggressive towards it.
We have! Oh my goodness, as you left us, there was an elephant. And here's this boy. He's actually sort of moving this way, so I'm just giving him a little bit of space if he does decide to continue towards us. But I think this might be the elephant that we started off the drive with. Last scrub robin calling as well. Jenna, yes, most definitely. So we basically refer to animals in general as being either diurnal or nocturnal. And so for animals that we view, especially for game drives with guests, with spotlights that some reserves will use, most reserves will use, you wouldn't spotlight an elephant, nor would you spotlight impala or any of our diurnal animals that we classify in that way. Nocturnal, you do spotlight, but you try just use the sort of halo of the spotlight, not the direct spotlight that would affect their vision. And then generally speaking, not off-roading, just because of the potential risk of that, getting lost, not being able to look out for things. So there are a few different rules that we do follow.
There's a snake. There's a snake. Don't tell him, Paul. Not too sure what it is. It could be a red-lipped herald. I could actually be wrong. Got some funny spots underneath of it. But, sheesh. It's been a very, very warm day. And naturally, we would expect to see these type of animals out and about. Goodness gracious me. We came round, my goodness, BK, well done. Came round the corner and just saw this stick on the road, but the stick seemed to be moving. There you go. My goodness me.
The wilds of Africa are true inspiration. We hope this episode of Safari Catch Up has inspired you. We'll see you next time.